G'day, my name's Stephen, aka the Tuckster. I'm the author of SongBoss, which is the open source pro karaoke software. In this video, I want to give an introduction to SongBoss and show you some of its functionality and its workflow. So let's take a look. Okay, so let's start by launching SongBoss for the first time. Now on your very first run, you'll get this first run wizard. Now all this is going to do is just give you a little bit of information and set some things up in the background. So just click through that, and now we've got SongBoss up and running. Now we've got three different windows here, but I'm going to come back to those, so I'll just slide them over to the side for the moment and put this into full screen. Now this is our main rotation. This is where we handle where the songs go and order in our current rotation, our next rotation, our singers and our library. But before I can do any of that, I need to add some files. I need to add some karaoke files. So on the left here, you can see we've got different buttons here for different options. We're on the rotation at the moment. I'm going to go down to the library and I'm going to import a library of songs. Now there's a couple of different ways you can do that. You can do it purely on metadata, so that'll read the file itself and get all the information about the song from the tags. Now if you've got a library that's well curated and you've made sure all the metadata is correct, that's the easiest way to import it. The other way to import it is to import by file name. Okay, so I'm going to import one that starts with the artist and then has a hyphen and then the title of the song. I could change that to ID and then title, so I can mix and match these however I like. Maybe my separation character is an asterisk for some reason. So whatever setup you have for your naming files, this should cover 99% of those needs. I think most people use a hyphen to separate the sections of their song, of their file name. I'm just going to go with artist, title, and I'm not going to have a third one there. So I'll select a folder. So I'll go in here and I'll go to the one that has artist and song, or artist and title. And you can see I'm loading up the files now. Okay, now they've loaded. It says I've got 2,626 tracks in that folder, and it's showed me not only the folder that I've imported, but any of the subfolders, any of the folders that come under that folder, they're all here. That way I can manipulate them individually. So let's say I go remove some songs or add some songs to this one. I can refresh just that folder and it will remember my naming scheme as well. I can remove just that folder as well. So I can do both of those things. I can take that out if I want to get rid of it, or I can, if I've changed the contents, I can refresh it. So I can deal with them individually. I don't have to deal with the whole library in one go. Okay, so now that I've got some songs in there, I'll go back up to the rotation. And the next thing we need is a singer. So I'm going to put myself in there. I'm going to put the Tuckster. So if I add a singer here, I can press the plus, or I can just press enter. It'll add a singer here and it'll automatically put my focus down here into search. So I'm a bit of an Elvis fan. So maybe I'll go down to Elvis and say always on my mind. And again, I've got two options to add this to Tuckster. As long as Tuckster's clicked, I can either click this button here, which adds the song, or I can double click on it. Either way, that will add that song in. Now you've noticed it's gone into two places here. The main page here is split up into two sections. You've got your current and next rotation, and you've got your singers and library. Now that's done very deliberately because I've found the workflow is when I want to deal with a singer, I need to get to the singer quickly and I need to get to their tracks quickly. So that's what this side of the screen's for. When I'm dealing with ordering and rotation, that's when my focus will be over here, but I can also all at once see everything if I want to. So let's just add a couple of singers in here. Shania Twain song for Lara. Mary, she likes Shania too, what the hell. Okay, so I've put in a couple of singers in there. I might even just put one more in. And Pretty Woman there for Ben. And so now I've got four singers in here. Now there shouldn't be any real big surprises here. As they've put their songs in, they've gone in that order. So let's just have a quick look at the highlighting. So the track that's green is what's going to play if I hit that play button. So if ever I want a song to play, I always know it's going to be the green one in the current rotation is always the one I'm going to play. If I don't want that, I can move a different song into first position and hit play, but it's always the green. The yellow is just an indicator to say that's the one that's coming after. Once I hit play on that, this one is going to be the green one. Okay, and then everything after that is just in black, but if I roll over it, it just shows me which one I'm on. Now if I click on one of them, you'll notice it also highlighted the name of the person. So if I click on Lara, you can see Lara's highlighted over here. And that's so that no matter which track I click on, it'll also update this side and show me any other songs that that person has. So let's go to the Tuxter and we'll add in, has to be another Elvis song of course. Hound Dog, that'll do. And I'll put another one, The Ghetto. Okay, so now you can see, if I click on the Tuxter, it highlights the one I clicked on, but it also shows where the Tuxter has a song in the next rotation. It highlights the Tuxter singer here and shows all the songs. So over here, I've actually got 3 songs entered in for Tuxter. You'll see the first 2 because that's the first 2 rotations. Now you might be asking at this point, what's the point of seeing both rotations? Why don't I just have one? That's an excellent question and we'll get to that shortly. But let's go ahead and add another song for Lara. Don't Impress, that'll do. I'll put 3 in for her as well. Mary and Ben. Oh, let's just throw something in. It doesn't really matter what it is. Okay, so we've got a few songs loaded up here now. All right, so if I hit play, it's going to play the Tuxter. Now I'm just going to bring one of these other screens back on. So we've got 3 windows, don't forget. Now this is the singer view. So it just has ready, set, sing when we're setting up. But the second I hit play, this view will actually start operating. So I'll show you what I mean by that. If I hit play, and then I'm going to quickly hit stop because I don't want the sound to come through on YouTube, you'll see that the song came up on here and it also came up on the preview up here. Now I hit end, so that ended that song, same as if it just ran through its time and finished. And now the next song is in green, which is Lara, and you can see it's got next singer is Lara. Okay, and that will continue to happen. Now I would have break music playing now as well, but we'll get to that in a moment. And I'll just quickly introduce the third screen. So we've got our main control panel there. We've got our singer preview, which you might be going through a splitter so the crowd can see it, and maybe a little screen in front of the singer so they can read the words. And now I'm going to show you the third screen. I always run 3 screens at my show. You don't have to. You can run 1 screen, 2 screens, whatever you want. But this one shows what's in my rotation. Now this is customizable as well. The scroll speed, whether I show just the current rotation, whether I've showed singers that have already sung, such as the Tuxter, I can do all that. But I'll come back to that and show you in the settings. It also tells me who the next singer is and who follows that. Same thing as the other screen. If I double click on it, it goes into full screen. Double click again, it takes it out of full screen. So I'll drag that over to my third screen, double click on it, and the crowd can see that as well. Now, this will depend on the KJ. I don't think I've ever met a crowd that hasn't absolutely loved this. I know my venues love it as well. Often, I don't know how often it is, but there's definitely a lot of KJs that would look at this and just go, no way, I don't want people to see what I'm actually running, because I like to change songs around depending on whatever your reasons are, and they don't want the crowd to see that. That's fine. In that case, just don't use it. You can just press the X and it'll be minimized and don't look at it again. But for those who like it, I've had a lot of good feedback. As I said, the crowd usually loves it, venues love it. It's usually just if the KJ tends to move things around a lot, then that might upset the crowd, so they'd probably be better off not having it. But that's the third screen there. I'll just really actually quickly just show you a customization. I'll just go into settings and I'll change the scroll speed to fast, so you can see that's now sped up. If you've got a big night and quite a lot of people in there, then that will rotate a lot quicker on fast. Now, I personally like to just show the current queue, just the unique singers. So I can untick the next queue, and once that's gone through its scroll, when it starts again, you'll see it's only the current round. Now, I also like to keep the singers that have already sung so people can see they've had their turn and it's all been unique singers, because one complaint that we've had at a venue is people thinking that others are being pushed in front of them or something like that, so they'll be able to see they sang and then it's been unique singers all the way through until the next round starts, and then it all starts again. Now, if you don't like that, you can just untick that as well, and in a second, there we go. So now I'm only showing the current round, so only unique singers that are coming up. I'll tick that back on, so then it shows singers that have already sung, and then I can tick next queue and it will show current round and the next round. So I use round and round, queue and rotation all as synonyms, so they all mean the same thing to me in this case. Okay, so I'll move that back to the side. This is for remote requests, but we'll come back to that. Okay, so I want to show you something really important about the rotation. The reason why current rotation and next rotation are both shown is because SongBoss, unlike every other KJ software I've seen, is not singer oriented. So your rotation is based on your singer in all the software I've seen. I could be wrong, there's probably other software out there that does it differently. But in SongBoss, I wanted to do something a little bit more flexible. So for instance, if Lara's about to come up and she's caught at the bar or something, or she didn't do anything wrong, for some reason she can't get up to the stage, well, what I can do is say, okay, Lara, that's no problem. It says Lara's up next with Don't Be Stupid. All I do is click on Lara, I'll move her down one spot. You can see automatically the screen is updated. We've got Mary now, and I've moved Lara down. But she hasn't moved her place in the next rotation. So penalising her here because of something that she had no control over, perhaps, doesn't then follow on into the next rotation. Okay, she keeps the spot in the next rotation. They're two completely separate rotations. And I'll show you another really big advantage to that. Let's say a new singer walks in, Kevin, and he wants a song. Well, Kevin hasn't sung yet, so he should really just go on the end of the current rotation. If he goes on the end of the next rotation, that means Lara, Mary and Ben will all sing twice before Kevin gets a go, and that doesn't seem very fair. So I'll just add a song for Kevin, and you'll see Kevin went straight into the end of the current rotation. Now at some point, and this will be completely up to the KJ on the night, how fast things are moving, how many people there are, what the patrons are like, they'll make a call and say, well, at some point, it's probably not fair that somebody can just walk in the door and be the very next singer. Let's say Lara sang, Mary sang, Ben sang, and then Kevin's about to sing and George walks in and goes straight into that next spot. Now on a short list, that's perfectly fine, but if you had 20, which is a pretty standard night, you had 20 singers, and Tuxter came in, sang a song, he's been sitting patiently, watching everyone else sing, drinking at the bar, being a good patron, and somebody walks in the door and goes straight up to the stage before him, then he might not be that impressed. Okay, so at some point, this stops being fair. So what I've got is this button up here where we can lock the queue. And what locking the queue means is we believe now if somebody walks in and puts in a song, they probably shouldn't go in front of all these singers in the next rotation that have been patiently waiting and buying drinks and so on. So when we lock that and a new singer walks in, so let's put George in, and I'll just pick some random songs. So George comes in, I put a song for him. You'll notice that George went up into the next rotation, not the bottom of the current rotation. Now that's only one spot different. That doesn't really make any difference. But watch what happens when George's friend also came in, Troy, and Troy also wants to put a song in. Troy didn't go to the top, he didn't go to the bottom of the current rotation, he didn't go to the top of the next rotation, he went into third spot. Okay, so you might be wondering what's happening here. Okay, so the algorithm for this is, at the beginning when it's a small queue, just keep adding them to the bottom. At some point, it wouldn't be fair to just let the next person go in. So what we do is we start interleaving them. Now, SongBoss will do this automatically for you. That's why this isn't a singer-oriented queue. It's a request-oriented queue because it allows me to do things like this. So this queue remains the same. None of these people move. But I want to interleave Troy between the Tuxter and Lara. If I did that over here, he would go into that spot there because you've only got a singer-oriented queue. That would make it very difficult. You'd have to wait until after and slot them in behind. There are ways of doing it. People get very creative, but this is a nice simple way. You don't have to keep track of anything and SongBoss does it for you. So if another person walks in, Jenny, let's see where Jenny goes. So Jenny went here. So you can see it goes new singer, existing singer from the current rotation. New singer, existing singer from the current rotation. New singer, and so on. So it interleaves them. So that's the fairest system after this queue becomes quite long. So at that point, everyone gets their go, it's all interleaved. Now, when current queue is finished, this whole next rotation will shift across and become the current rotation. And any future songs, so do I have someone with 3 songs in here? Yep. So Lara's third song will then go into the next rotation in the same order as what we have here. Okay, so whatever order we have in the next rotation, the rotation after that will initially follow that. And as I was saying earlier, you do most of your changes and work here. And that's also another reason why on this screen, I personally like to just have the current round, because I find the current round should be very stable. And if you are moving people, it's going to be in the next rotation. But some KJs like to just have everything showing. And if you just like to have everything showing, well, you can do that too. Okay, so when that scrolls down, you can see there's the next round, and it's showing next round as well. Okay, so that's a basic rundown. There's a couple little features. I won't go through absolutely everything, but you can move songs between queues as well. So let's say, for instance, for some reason I want George over here. I can move George over to current. I can even make him the next singer if I want. Just move him up to there. Or I can move him back over there. Okay, and we're back to where we were. You can also move the third song in. If I had the Tuxter, if I had Mary and I wanted to move that one in, I could put it into next and that would go into the next queue. So the best approach is just to leave it exactly as it is and let SongBoss do all the work for you. But if you have reasons to override it, it gives you absolute power to do all that as well. Now we're going to have a quick look at break music. It works very similar. So first of all, I'm going to click on Manage Folders because I want to import some break music. So transition music, that'll do. So I've imported 52 tracks. Okay, I can search for the tracks and to add them to a playlist. Now, if I want to look for someone in particular or I want to look for a genre, I can filter it that way. Or if I just want everything, I can just press space and it'll just show me all the ones I've inputted. So I'll just grab a bunch of them. I'll hold shift and grab those. I'll add it to the current queue, which is the default. And if I start break music, I don't know if that came through or not, if you heard that, but the music started playing. I don't want to keep doing it because the YouTube algorithm might ping me. You can break it at any time, stop the break music. And if I hit play now, that'll also play it. But if it's playing and I click play now, it will then fade out and fade into the next song. So if you get a song and you think, doesn't really suit the crowd, just click play now and it'll play the next one. Now I can have as many playlists as I want. Maybe I'm going to an event where they like country music, so I can add a country music playlist as well. So I've got my default with those ones. I go to my country, I'll pick a couple of other songs down here and I'll add them. So my country queue is different to my default queue and I can add as many of those in as I want. So you can really customize your break music, you can randomize it, you can move songs up, you can move one from the bottom right up to the top to the next song. Notice it goes to the second one because this is the playing one and that'll be the next one in line. Okay, so that's just a quick breakdown of the music. If it's enabled, then automatically when one track stops playing, it'll immediately fade into that break music. When you hit play for the next track, it'll fade out and then fade into the new song. Also, it doesn't start at the beginning of the song. It starts part way in, so you don't get any times when you don't have any sound coming out. So it'll start, say, 10% into the song, and 5 or 10% from the end of the song, it'll fade out and fade straight into the next one. So you've always got music going. It'll play a different song after each track that you play in karaoke. Settings I went to showed you the crowd view, but you can also put in your rig and your API key if you've signed up to online song requests. So SongBoss itself is completely free, but when the song request system comes online for the general public, it's only for beta testers at the moment, then that will have a fee with it because it's a service where we have to run servers and so on. Last but not least is the requests. So any requests that are done through the online service will come in here. When you click on it, let's say it's Elvis Presley Hound Dog. Maybe you've got a couple of versions of Elvis Presley Hound Dog. You've got one with Sunfly and another one with karaoke version. You get the opportunity to select which one you want here. You got your key change. You can add them as a new singer. So if a request comes in for a singer you don't have in your list, it'll realize that and suggest a new singer. But sometimes people might do the spelling wrong or try to be tricky, in which case you can override it and assign it to one of your existing singers. You can change the key at this point if you need to, and you can add the song. Also, if you're using online requests, you can enable and disable requests, so people at the end of the night won't keep putting songs in. And this sync just lets you know that, well, at the moment I haven't synchronized with my online service. So with the online service, you don't have to export all your songs and then upload it to the service or anything like that. All you do is, if you've got a valid rig name and API key, then all you have to do is hit that sync, and it'll sync up your whole library and make sure that you remain in sync. If you change something on this end, add a song, remove a song, this will go red. Click on it, it'll sync with the server and go green. So it will always keep your online library in sync with your computer library. Okay, so that's a quick overview and some of the reasoning behind it. There are some other features here. We can change the key of a song after someone's put in. So if a request comes in, you can set the key. When you add a song down here, you can also change the key when you're adding it. But if someone puts it in with no key change or the wrong key change, you can always override it. So you can come up here, select a song, and then change the key. If I press process key change, you'll see it's saying processing key. Because there's a little while before this is going to be played, what I like to do in SongBoss is pre-process it all. So that is now, that whole track has now been processed to be up one semitone. So that's really beneficial, particularly if you have low-powered machines, because it's not trying to change the key on the fly as it's playing. It's pre-processed it prior to actually playing the track. So that now has a key change of 1. And I can override that and say, oh, it wasn't supposed to be 1, it was supposed to be 2. I just click on it, go 2 and process again, and that'll all work. Okay, so that's quite a lot, but hopefully that gives you an idea. Oh, one last feature. When this gets really, really full, and you've got lots and lots of singers in both queues, you can just click compact view if you want to, just to get an overview, so you can see everyone in one look. So you can see, oh, it's Tuxter, Lara, Mary, but if you want the details, click detail view. It'll tell you the track, duration, approximate wait time, yeah, all the stuff that you need. And over here, if you click on any song, it'll tell you how many songs you have to wait until it's your turn and how many songs that singer has queued. And again, when you have lots and lots of singers in here, you can just filter it down. If I was looking for Tuxter, I could just type TUX and it filters down to Tuxter. I find this really useful when someone comes up to you in the night and says, oh, I want to switch the order of my song, or what song did I put in again, or whatever it is, and you don't have that third screen that's telling them. They might come up and ask you, just say, okay mate, no worries, what's your name? Just type in a couple of letters up here and bang, it's filtered it down. You click on it, it immediately highlights where they are in the queues. So you can say, well, you sang a song, you just finished singing a song, and you've got another song coming up after everyone else has had a turn. So with me, I like to keep unique singers in each rotation, so everyone gets a fair turn. But again, you can override that at any time. I don't take the power out of the KJ's hands. If you want this one over there, you can just move to the current queue. Okay, but I would highly recommend just letting SongBoss do all the hard work for you, and as long as you get that lock and unlock at a good time where you think it's right, you could pretty much run the show just doing that, because you'll interleave, you'll have it what I call the IntelliQueue, an intelligent queue where it automatically puts people into a fair position. Okay, I think that's just about all I need to go through for a quick introduction. There are more features to come. There's lots more I need to do, but I want to get this stuff out and into your hands right now before I start adding additional features. So if you made it to this part of the video, well done. There's quite a lot to go through. Thank you for watching, and the beta is now available on the Linux platform. Hopefully very soon, in a week or two, I'll have it available on Windows as well. So please use the beta and give me any feedback. Love to hear from you, so we can make SongBoss the best possible pro karaoke software we absolutely can. Cheers.